I have made a few errors in the creation of this project. But to err is human. What if there was something much more than human? I'm throwing away my humanity, subscribers! I got a little carried away there. Today I'm going to be teaching you all how I made my very own version of the stone mask from part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood. God, that's a mouthful. There's a lot to learn about this topic, and I think you're all going to really enjoy it. So, let's get started with the 3D printer. Now, the 3D printer that I have is a Prusa i3 Mark III's, and it is a fantastic machine. But before I can show you all the neat tips and tricks, I gotta show you how to operate this thing first. So, as you can see, I already have a print that is on the build plate. Now with the Prusa, it actually has a removable build plate. So you just lift up here in a corner, or this corner. As you can see, there's a really neat marking where you can put your thumbs. You lift up right here with your hand, and it all just comes right up. What's great about this is that it's a magnetic bed, but we'll get to that in a minute. You've got your part stuck on here. There's two different ways you can do that. You can just grab hold of it and just kind of yank it off, or you can do what a normal person does, and that is to use the actual flexibility. Just put your hands underneath, use your thumbs, and comes right off. But hold on, your part isn't done yet. What's up with all of these little lines and everything? This is support material. This is the stuff that supports the print as it prints. You can't print over nothing, because if there's nothing to support it, you just get all these strings and everything. So the support material is made so that way that doesn't happen and actually keeps your parts looking great. There's a lot of different settings to it, but we'll get to that later in the video. I have it set up where all I need to do is just really grab hold of it and baba booey. I'm already done. So now, before we put the build plate back on, you want to remove the rest of the support material that's left behind. This little purge area here. Should all just peel right off for you. Want to get rid of all the stuff from the last print. Now, I know already what you're thinking. Hey, what's with all the white shit on there? I'll get to that in a minute. It's actually a really cool product called 3D Gloop that I've been using for a while now to help make sure that all of my parts stay secure to the build plate. Now there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Some people use glue sticks, some people use hairspray. Heck, I even sometimes use blue tape because it works amazing and it gives a really nice rough finish. So this time we're going to be using the blue tape side, but actually, you know what, screw it. Screw it. I'm going to teach you how to use 3D Gloop because it's just an amazing product and I personally really love it. The guys their help team is absolutely fantastic. I have no gripes with them. I do, however, have a gripe with the United States Postal Service because I was supposed to get it in November and I didn't get it till, I didn't get it till February, so that's with the US Postal Service not notifying me that it had arrived and keeping it in a box over to the side instead of actually putting it in my P.O. box. That's a whole different tangent. Let's talk about how you put this build plate back on the heat bed. Well, you're gonna see this little notch right here. These two areas right here line up with two little screws that pop up out of the actual heat bed. So you just line it up with those two screws, and drop it down. And it's magnetized, so it automatically goes right into place. Before you start any print, there's another thing you gotta take a look at, and that is color. What color are you going to be working with? Well, let's go to our namesake, the box, so we can think inside the box. I named this series for a reason. Well, welcome to Think Inside the Box, where all of the items that we're gonna be needing for this project are inside this box. Plus or minus a 3D printer. I like my 3D printer, okay? Just work with me here. So, first thing you're gonna need is a laptop. Haha! I worked around it. You don't need a really big desk computer. All you need is a little laptop. It works just fine. Next thing you're gonna need white filament. Here, let me open up this box. Wait, it's a box. Inside of a box is boxception. Alright, seriously, let's open this up for you. Now, what I'm using today is just a classic white PLA. It's the stuff I use for I mean, PLA is pretty much what I use for everything. I do have some slight variations. I have a flex material, I have a wooden material, but PLA is my go-to. I don't use ABS because ABS, as it burns, can be toxic to breathe in those fumes. So, as always, make sure that you're printing in a well-ventilated area. I haven't turned on my fans yet because I want you to be able to hear me as I talk to the camera. That's okay. Now, what I like to do is I like to actually keep my filament in its package with a moisture pack, you know, the moisture absorber things that you find like jerky, and then I keep that inside of its box. Now, the reason why I do that is because what you want to avoid is getting moisture inside of the PLA, because it kind of absorbs moisture out of the air. You just kind of want to avoid that. It's not great. As it goes through the hot end of your 3D printer, that water will boil and you'll be left with this weird spongy material that's very brittle, very weak. It's just straight up not a good time. Next, you're going to need, basically you just need a bucket or a bowl, and I figured if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, so I grabbed the biggest metal bowl I could find. Sorry Mom, no more salads. Inside this, you've got some basic acrylic paints. The stuff I use is just apple barrel. It's great stuff, people. I don't know why people don't like it, or maybe a lot of people do like it. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. But black, gray, and white. You only need black, white, and gray for this because you're not gonna do any really fancy colors or anything. It's a stone mask. Make it look stony, right? To make sure that your prints stay to the build plate, as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna need a bottle of 3D gloop, specifically for the product that you're working with. They have 3D gloop for ABS and other stuff, but I'm using a bottle of 3D gloop for PLA. It's wonderful stuff. Mwah. Next thing, just some needle nose pliers. This is for removing sport material if it becomes too much of a hassle. Just so you can really grab hold of it and just rip it out. Like it's the heart of that one guy from Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom. I've got two different types of needle nose pliers right here. The first kind does not have a spring. The second kind does. It's just really nice if you're going to work on little small details. You can just grab hold, let go, grab hold, let go. It's fantastic. Next, just a set of cheap paintbrushes. Don't get anything fancy. These are quite literally like what? Dollar Tree? I think these are quite literally Dollar Tree paintbrushes. So you don't need anything fancy for this project. Just as long as you have a paintbrush, you're good. Hell, you can even use paper towel. Speaking of which, you're gonna need some paper towels. I probably should have thrown those in there. Just keep your hands nice and clean. Keep your work area clean. It just makes life easier. And then finally, also to keep your work area clean and your hands clean, just a box of gloves. It just helps. You aren't gonna need that many, but a box of gloves goes a long way. And that's everything you're gonna need for this project. So, let's get started. Alright, so, did that say a few hours later? No, it's actually a few days later. Hi, it's Chase again. It's actually Saturday. It is Saturday. Tomorrow at noon is the birthday party, and right now it is Saturday at 10:15 a.m. So I have just over 24 hours to make the entire stone mask, the painting and everything, which is great because I wanted to show you guys how to make this on a time crunch. And you know what? Going from Wednesday to Sunday was just too much time. So here we go. We've got 1 day to make the entire stone mask for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Let me show you how to do it. So, before you even get started with the actual modeling and everything, let's talk about the 3D printer. Let's get this ready for the white filament. So, if you have your own 3D printer, the options are going to go a little different, but regardless, it's going to be relatively similar. You're going to go here, preheat, and you want to preheat it for whatever plastic you already have in there. In this case, it's PLA. It's going to warm up. So, in the meantime, while that's warming up, let's get my white filament out of the box. Now, don't worry about the surface stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, as you can sort of see by these raising numbers, here in a second, let me adjust the camera, the temperature is slowly increasing, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. That means that it's working. So once this reaches 215 degrees, we're going to hit the button to actually unload the filament, at which point it'll come out of the hot end up here. Boom. Now, don't push the X, that restarts the whole printer. All right, there we go. It's going to heat up the bed. Besides, it's the first episode of this series, so it doesn't have to be good yet. Alright, so you preheated it. Now, you want to move down and hit unload. And boom, there it goes. Now I'm sure that a few of you would notice this thing starts spinning around. This actually doesn't do anything. It's just a gear indicator. As long as this thing is spinning, I know that this is working. And it's awesome. There's a bunch of different versions you can do with this. You can do your own little key right here, make it look like it's all old-timey. You can do the leg from Monty Python's Silly Walks. It's up to you though. Alright, so now that we have our filament unloaded, let's take our old filament and put it back where it belongs. Make sure that when putting your filament away, you make sure to loop it through like this. That keeps it from being tangled up and also makes it easy to just grab it for next time. So all you gotta do is just kind of loop it in here and then back in here, and you're ready for the next time you start printing. Alright, so we have this preheated, we have our filament gone, we have this filament out. So let's get started. Now what's awesome about the Prusa i3 Mark III's, it actually comes with an automatic loader. But before you load your filament, as always, loop it out. We're good. You want to make sure that your filament is coming over the top, never the back way, just like toilet paper. Now, here's another use for your needle nose pliers. Snip off the very end of the filament. Make sure you do it in an angle. Now the reason why you do this is because whenever you're done printing... Well, shit. That's not good. Oh, shit. Well, this is a cutaway gag to fix my gear indicator. I really need this cause it will help me later. I need to fix the magnet on my gear indicator. Do-do-do-do-do. Just put some super glue right here on the stud. You only need a drop, you don't need a lot. Take your magnet and stick it in the glue. Just wait a couple minutes, what else do you do? Make sure it's center, make sure it's right, make sure it's center, and everything will go right. This is the end of the cutaway gag. Now the reason why you want to snip off the end is that way you get a sharp point instead of this weird bulbous glob at the end of your filament. This makes it a little bit tougher for it to go through the hot end, and it just makes your life a little bit easier if you just snip that thing off and discard. Now what's great about the Prusa i3 Mark III's is that it actually comes with automatic filament loading. So all you gotta do is shove your filament right here in this hole, and automatically come out the hot end and purge out the last color that you used. We're gonna see that right now. Now let's say that after you purged your filament from last time, it didn't get all the color out. Well, all you gotta do is just tell the printer that it's not extruding with the right color, and then it'll start extruding again just to make sure that you've gotten all your previous color out. Well, you have to look at that. It's all nice, beautiful, and white. So, you successfully changed the filament on your 3D printer. That doesn't quite solve the problem. You need the model, or STL, so you can actually print the damn file. We're going to do that right now with the help of my laptop. This portion of the video is supposed to be used as a voiceover for the recording on the laptop, which I will email to myself. Chase, don't forget that the recording you're looking for is on the laptop. Hey everybody, it's Chase Hukel. I am sick at the recording of this and during the editing, which just makes the editing absolute hell. Anyway, I'm going to teach you how I did my 3D printing of the mask from JoJo. Basically, you go to Thingiverse, you type in stone mask, and there's this awesome model that I found that works well for me. And that is the model here, which was made by one Pepride. I think that's how you say it. I'm gonna say it that way because it's fun. Anyway, but there is this really cool one over here, which was done by Guido Mista. It's a pretty cool model, but it's just kind of big. I just kind of like this one more because it has this flat bottom, which I think looks really good on a wall. This one is probably more accurate for the anime and the manga, but I just went for this one because it's a little bit more simplified and it's a little easier to print than this one, which has way more detail, but you know. So what you want to do is you want to download all the files You gotta wait 5 seconds so you get this cool add thing. You're gonna open up your files, right? You're gonna go to your downloads. You're gonna open it up. You're gonna go to your files. You're gonna grab it. You're gonna click and drop that into your downloads. That way it shows up over here as an OBJ file or an object file. Once you've dropped the OBJ from your zip file into your downloads, you're gonna take this model here. You're gonna open up Prusa Slicer. Show you how I got to here. And to show you how I got to here, you're gonna add a model. You're gonna click your stone mask. You're gonna open, but it's gonna be like really friggin' small. All right, we're gonna right click on the model. We're going to scale to the print volume. We're gonna rotate it about 45 degrees. We're gonna zoom out just a hair. And then we are going to right click, scale to print volume again. Now you go into your print settings, layers and perimeters. Copy these down for you because this should probably help. Perimeters is 3, that's probably good. Solid shells, yes, yeah. Extra perimeters if needed. Make sure that you're in the expert settings for this. If you're in simplified, you're not gonna get most of the neat stuff that comes with the cool stuff of being advanced, you know? It's pretty sick, just saying. Skirt and brim, turn off your loops for the skirt and brim because you're printing at the max size. Fill density, I'm gonna go for 5%. Grid pattern, yes. Rectilinear, yeah, you know, let's do rectilinear. Bottom fill pattern, also rectilinear. Combine and fill every layer. Solid and fill, no, we don't need that. Fill angle, let's do 90 degrees because we're already printing the model at 45 degrees. All right, multiple extruders, I only have the one. Support material, copy down these notes here that you're seeing. Generate, auto-generate, it's pretty awesome. Overhang threshold, 0 degrees, means support everything. Contact Z distance. Now pattern spacing, I'm gonna increase to 10 millimeters just so we aren't using or wasting a bunch of filament. Sorry, it's not gonna make any solid layers on top of the support material that need to be removed. Otherwise you get like this weird inner shell that becomes a huge pain in the ass. And I just don't want to deal with it. All right, go back to your plater. You hit slice now, and it will automatically take your 3D model and slice it into individual chunks that it will then send to your printer as a G-code. G-code is basically a really long string of text that tells the printer where to go, where to move, at what temperature, at what speed. It's really complex, and I love it. And then once it's, here we go. So now it's showing you what the STL is. All of these little lines and everything that you're seeing is actually the tool path of the printer itself. But give it just a second, you're good. That's just the tool path itself. Here in a second, you're gonna see a color code over here that's gonna show you what everything actually means. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. And now, if you move this right here, you can actually see through the model itself layer by layer. So, see how this little bit right here changes? Watch. This bit right here on the nose is the very top layer. So if I scroll down, that's the difference in between one layer and the next. And the more you scroll, the more layers get removed. If I zoom out real quick, you can see yeah, that's pretty sick, man. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit an export G-code. You're gonna save it to your USB. It'll show up as USB, but it's actually your SD card that goes into your printer. Save it to your SD card as the G-code file, and then once you have it exported there, you're gonna click this button to dismount your SD card. I'm not gonna click it right now though because my SD card is actually hooked up to Premiere Pro at this instance, and you know, I don't want to lose all the progress that I've made. Okay, back to the regular video. Do not sell things that's really shitty. Make sure you get in contact with the artist who made the model first before you sell anything. Now, I know that they have the Dio stone mask, but I haven't yet seen the Red Stone of Asia stone mask, which I would really love to see because it's got that weird, it's got just that cool triangular shape right in the forehead, because I really want to make my own version of the Red Stone of Asia, which we will make on this series eventually, but I just really want the stone mask to put it in, the one that Cars has. the Prusa slicer probably isn't going to work very well on something like an Ender 3. And the slicer for the Ender 3 or a Robo or a MakerBox or something like that isn't going to work as well on the Prusa. So make sure that you have the right slicer installed for your computer. For those confused as to what a slicer is a software that takes a 3D model and splits it into individual slices for your 3D printer to then compute and then actually print. It's pretty cool. Imagine it as like layers of a sandwich or sheets of paper stacked on top of another. Each one of those is a slice. Now we're done using the computer. All we have left is our program right here on this SD card. All we gotta do is plug it into the printer. We're ready to go. Alright, now we're finally ready to start printing. What we're gonna do is take the SD card, slide it into the proper area. But wait! Before you actually start printing, make sure you use your bottle of 3D glue. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this, as I've noted before. If you're going to use a hairspray, make sure you use something like Aquanet. I actually really prefer Aquanet for this. All you gotta do is take it, shake it up, and spray it on. Now what's really cool is that 3D printers are a lot like your own hair. Do not use Gorilla Glue. And it's fantastic. It really minimizes down on actual bed lifting, which for those of you that don't know what that is, that's when as you're printing, the actual print will lift up from the bed itself. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover my whole thing in just a light layer of 3D glue. That's all the white stuff you're seeing. It's just leftover 3D glue from previous prints. It doesn't hurt anything, and in theory you could reuse it, but I'm just going to go over it again just to be safe, to make sure that I have a brand new, super thin layer all over this thing. Just to make sure that no matter where everything's printing, it's going to be held to the bed. So, we're actually ready to start the printing process now. Push the button, print from SD, move down to the model you want to print, push the button, and now we're ready for a time lapse. From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intentions? Alright, it's done printing, so let's get this off the build plate. Alright, so now it's done printing. What do you know, it turned out really well. Even after I ran the printer at 999% speed, which is the fastest you can run the 3D printer, and it still turned out really well. But first, let's get this baby off the build plate, and it's awesome. All you gotta do is, just like with the watermelon print, fold it. And we're good. Oh my gosh, did it take? Actually took a little bit of support material with it, so that's a good sign. It's like stretching out gum. So we're gonna start off by removing the support material from the mask. All you gotta do is just really grab hold of it and just yank. And it's that simple. You don't know those pliers. These things are awesome. Just kind of grab hold of it and just pull. There's a little bit on the front. We're gonna peel that off as well. And then just to make sure that we've gotten all of it, we're just gonna grab a little piece of sandpaper. You really don't need much sandpaper, so I'm just using this little piece. I'm just gonna go around the edges. Now make sure if you're doing the inside of the mask, you're gonna sand the bottom area here as well, just in case somebody decides to put their face inside. You really don't wanna get poked in the eye with a stray piece of plastic, so just sand it down. Now before we move on to the next step, there's one thing that you gotta deal with. This is the leftover support material. All you gotta do is just, well, toss it. Wow, it's clean. So you 3D printed your mask and you've got it all ready. But like me, you accidentally ran into a hole in your print. For mine, it's right there. How we're gonna fix that is just my old buddy, super glue. I always like to believe that if you don't cut yourself or get super glue on your fingers at least once during a project, you're doing the project wrong. Right in here, just kind of just squash it in. Probably should be wearing gloves for it, but oh well. Now, once you have any potential holes plugged in, we're ready to paint. Boy. We're gonna paint the stone mask. Welcome to my little painting area. But before we get started, you want to dilute this. We're gonna fill this up with water. So, Hukel, how in the world do we turn this white alabaster death mask into a really cool stone mask from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Well, it all comes down to this big, huge bowl of water. So let's get started. I'm just gonna grab hold of my black paint here. I'm gonna shake it up. Shake it up. No, nobody's a fan of the cars. Get it? Also, sorry there's background noise. I'm quite literally in a pump house. It's a nice pump house, but it's a pump house. Black paint in the water. Mix it up. Slap it on here. Ooh, that looked cool. I hope that I got that on camera. Yes, let's see what the entrails can tell me. What do you see? What do you see, young master? What was the joke there that I was going for? What is wrong with me? All right, so you just kind of mix this up. Oh yeah, yes, I'm talking about. Look at that. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, baby. So for the other one, I did not paint the inside because I was just gonna hang it up on a wall. But because I'm giving this to my cousin, I don't know what he's gonna do with it. We're gonna paint the inside first. If I can get all of the damn thing. Wow, it already looks like shit. It's okay. We're gonna do this a couple ways. Just dig in there, get right across the bottom, and there you go. Just kind of slap it around in there. See, the water's getting these little bubbles in there. It's gonna make it look like the bumps that you see in the anime. You notice that it's really very craggly. It's not all nice and smooth. It's got cracks. It's got bumps. It's got age to it. That's okay. That's good. That's what we want. Slosh it right over there. There, right there. Yeah. Look at that. Cool. We did it. Now, if you really want to make it look all craggly, you can take a knife and you can carve little pieces in it. Add a couple of scratches, like it's been around for a couple of millennia. You know, just kind of, not a lot of scratches, but you know, just enough to just kind of, yeah. Looks like it's really old. Now for this, since there's a lot more detail here, I'm gonna get all the deep areas first. See how like right around here in the T, see how the water already went in there? I'm just gonna go right there, right on top of it. Yeah, just like that. And there's a little crack right there. Get all up in that. Yeah. There we go. Kind of like in this area, right here, you really want to get in there. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, baby. Look at that. It's getting really dark. Like a DC movie. I know it doesn't look great right now, but hold on. Watch what happens. Keep going over it. Right? We're going to turn these really dark. Like, there's high areas that you want to be whiter and grayer. And in the low areas, these cracks here, these parts around the lips, right here in the nostrils, this big spirally area, those are where you want to be really dark. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so you may find a way that works better for you to do this. This is just what works for me. Now, if it were a sunny day out, this would probably already be dry, but it's actually cold and rainy, which is not what I wanted, because yesterday it was like 70 out, now today it's like 50 and raining, which is weird. Oregon has weird weather. So now, let's dry all this off. The way I like to do it is just a heat gun, but you gotta be careful when you use a heat gun. If you get too direct with your heat, you're gonna melt the plastic and waste all of your time. As I'm drying it, I'm going in with my thumb, I'm just gonna wipe off some of the excess, because I want think of it as like mountains and valleys. I want the high parts to be a little whiter, a little brighter, so that way there's a bit more of a contrast between the deep, dark valleys and the super bright peaks. It's gonna look great. That's good enough for me. Like right here from the nostrils, around the lips. Now this stuff's nice and hot. Dry real fast. Go right up here. Gotta go right up in there. And we're gonna dry it off together. And you just kind of go in with a couple of coats. Making cool stuff. Okay, so now we're doing the drying phase. Now, I didn't do this on the last mask, so here's the previous mask. Here's this mask. You can see this one is actually larger and a lot darker. So what we're gonna do to lighten it up a little bit is we're gonna actually grab some of this gray, we're gonna add some flecks to it, so that's gonna be like the bumps and stuff that's on the original mask in the anime. And we're gonna go in with a dry brush and just add a little bit of highlight. And for this, I'm just gonna dip it and wipe it off just a hair and flick it. There we go, that's working a lot better. Come on, have fun with it, get your hands dirty. If we're not having fun, what are you doing? Cool, I did it. My hands are gray. No! No! Oh no, it's like Evil Dead! Ah! Anyway, cool, white paint. You should probably shake that up first. Woo! Kind of a coarser brush. Let's use this one. Dip it. Keep going until you get just a little bit of paint on there. And then I'm just going to go in here and highlights. And right around here, around the nose. Make sure you get those teeth nice and pearly white. Right here on the cheek area. Let's do orange. Let's go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a completed stone mask from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think I friggin' nailed it. Let's take a better look at this inside back of the bench. Alright, so we finally finished the stone mask from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I gotta say, I am really, really happy with how it turned out. Not only is it larger than the one that I have on my wall, it also looks way friggin' better. And I'm really happy to give this away to my cousin Josiah for his birthday. I'm in me mom's car. Broom, broom.
Get out of my car.
Aww. Anyway, I packaged up the mask. I made my name on it, and look, I added the kanji for menacing. Because if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So let's go deliver the mask by hand to my cousin. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, Josiah.
Hi, Josiah.
Nice. All right, so I have finally finished making you your birthday present and wanted to film your real-time reaction. So here you go. Here we go. I'm really excited. Go ahead. Can you guess what it is? Probably.
Maybe a mask?
Dang, that's...
Is it? Just so I can feel... Oh, nice, dude. Oh, yeah, look at that. You printed that, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I just finished painting it, too.
Dude, that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Chase.
Woo!
Dude.
Yes!
Success.
So now that you've actually seen me give this to my cousin, this brings a close to the very first episode of Think Inside the Box! Woohoo! We did it! Oh my god, I can't believe I did it. Woo! Now, if any of you have suggestions what to do for the next episode, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear your ideas. I most likely be using your ideas once I run out of my own. I guess I can make shoes? Shoes sounds like a neat idea. I don't know, but as long as it's from pop culture, we're gonna try it here on Think Inside the Box. And we're gonna make sure that all the materials can fit inside this crate. plus or minus a 3D printer. So thanks for watching. I'm Chase Euckel, and until next time, have a great day.